Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Coffee and Sports, the morning show on the Wire to Wire Network. Man, I'm glad to be here with three of the guys from this lovely network, man. We got seven that joined us this morning, man. How you doing, brother? How was your weekend?
You know what? Up until the Chiefs started playing yesterday, it was a great weekend. It was an absolutely great weekend. But man, I don't even know what to say about that.
Will, how was your weekend, good brother?
Good, man. How about yours?
Hey, man, just watching football, enjoying life, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Facts.
Mo, how was your weekend, good brother?
Entertaining. I had a blast. Watched a lot of football. Can't go wrong that way. Watched football, watched the fight. I had a blast.
So, Will, what you got for us this morning?
Well, in WWE land, it's been announced that we're going to have WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. I got issues with that. It makes, to me, it puts the women of WWE in a very uncomfortable spot. That's the first thing. Second thing, it puts me as an American fan in an uncomfortable spot because this is our Super Bowl, and you're holding our Super Bowl in a foreign land, a foreign country. And I get it. TK wants to make money. I get that part. But to take WrestleMania, not just a PLE or a simple monthly pay-per-view, but to take our Super Bowl over there, I just got problems with that. Mo, what you thinking about that?
I think you should have led with that. I think you're hurting a lot of fans. If you're a wrestling fan, this is the Super Bowl for wrestling fans, and you're taking it to a foreign country. You're alienating your fan base. But here's the part that I would worry about is, yeah, TKO wants to make money. Nobody's going to ever be able to outbid the Saudis. So if they have WrestleMania next year, who's to say they won't have it the following year? They're going to always have more money.
Yep.
So I think TKO is selling out the wrestling fans. You're cutting off access. Like, how many American fans are actually going to go to Saudi to see WrestleMania? Not very many.
Nope. I think it's just a bad deal all the way around. Yeah, Keith brought up a good point. TKO is broke. Like I said, I get it. I just think it's a bad look, bad optics. I know the ladies are gonna be unhappy because when you see women wrestle over there, it's like this. Like the pop is like that, and that's about it. So I just think it's a bad move, bad optics for the company. Seven, I know you're not a wrestling guy, Seven, but did you have any thoughts on that?
I think that one of the things that you said is really something that stands out to me as far as what's going on here in the situation with trying to put a show in Saudi Arabia. The women's aspect to this, because you're trying to make sure you have a consistent women's brand, but you're going to go to a country where the safety and freedom of women is completely in question 24/7. And the part of what sells the women's brand of wrestling, we as much as we want to all try and pretend that it doesn't, the sexuality, the physicality, the more risque clothing that a lot of the female wrestlers wear shows off their form. That's not something that's allowed over there. That's something that can get you put in jail, put to death in some extreme circumstances. And we're going to take one of the biggest entertainment brands in the world and kneecap part of the brand because they don't have rights over there. That to me, I understand that there's a financial aspect to this and they need the money, but you are completely handicapping an entire part of your brand and alienating part of your fan base for a couple extra bucks. I take issue with that.
That's who they're partnering with, though, right? They're partnering with that country where women are second-class citizens. So I guess all the WWE women, I guess they're gonna wear like mechanic outfits for their matches. They're gonna all be dressed like mechanics because I'm just saying, like you're catering to that country. that's a bad look all the way around.
I mean, are we going to expect them to wear face coverings while they're wrestling? Facial expressions help sell what these actors, these talented athletes are doing in the ring. And we're going to just cover up their faces too? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Do y'all
None.
think they would get a waiver for that though from the government?
No,
not from that
no,
country.
not from that government. You won't. And it's just, and you saw the women's reaction when they were up on stage when they had that announcement, because they had 4 of their biggest women at that announcement that day, including Liv Morgan, which I was kind of shocked about because she's hurt. But you saw the expression on their faces. And when you go back and you look at what Bianca Belair was saying, how this is going to be so great, you could tell she was lying. You could tell she was lying. She ain't happy about it.
She has to sell it. That's her job.
Yeah, she's got to try to sell it. And I realized that, but I just think it's a bad move, bad optics, bad for every Westerner fan. I'm not saying that this, and some people may turn away from WWE because of this. AEW is still a major player in this thing, and you still have TNA, and it'd be a shame because they got really good things going on right now, storyline wise, in both WWE and NXT. And for them to lose fans because of this issue would just be ridiculous. And yes, Gene, I do agree. Jade, I don't think Jade would be there either. I really don't think she would be. I don't think Sami Zayn would be there. He's not gone over there in the past as well. So we shall see. But that's all I got, Carmike.
So, we got to get to it, man. One of the biggest fights of the generation's era, man. Canelo Crawford. Mo, talk to us about this fight, man.
Oh,
we lost Mo. 7.
Mo gone.
Did you watch this fight?
Yes, I was working. I host karaoke on Saturday night, so I wasn't able to watch it exactly, but everything that I saw, like it looked like Crawford had control for most of that, with the exception, I would say, what was it, like the 5th or 6th round, where Alvarez had a really good round. But outside of that, Crawford just had control. He was more consistent. You could tell, it almost felt like he had trained a little bit better. I love Canelo Alvarez just as much as the next guy. I think he's a great boxer. But Crawford was just ready. Like, he was on it. And I thought he did fantastic.
From everything that I saw, Crawford really did his preparation. And I think boxing is a sport that's 50% physical and 50% preparation. And he did a beautiful job preparing for this fight. Look, I like Canelo. I like him. He cool dude, but he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready, and he paid the price for not being prepared as well as he should have been.
I agree.
I mean, all the Netflix specials, man, they look like they was training hard for this fight, man. But Crawford did, from like 7 said, from the 5th round on. Started dominating him, man. Clean shots. He was hitting him with some heavy blows to the face, man. And I mean, kudos to Canelo, man, because he was taking the shots like a champ, man, and he was still walking towards Crawford. A lot of people will start backing up, but he was still trucking forward, man. That boy got a chin on him, man.
He does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
It was a great fight though, man. It was one of the, I haven't watched boxing in a very long time, because it's been not as good. But that fight
to bring it back.
It's a great fight. Yeah.
That one definitely could bring it back, man.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Do y'all think they're gonna bring a rematch back?
I think you can see it.
It would sell. I don't know. I mean, because the hard thing for me is, you spend all that time training, you go through this 12-round fight against a guy. Like that's a gauntlet. Like there's people that just don't realize. Yeah, those rounds are, what was it, like 4 or 5 minutes, if I recall correctly. Like it's a gauntlet, and it takes quite a bit to train for something like that. And so, yep. I mean, it's what are you going to do? Put the title back on the line, possibly have it just go back to where it was. I mean, it's I could see him doing it, but I also struggle to see what the benefit of it would be outside of the financial side.
I mean, it was a good fight. A lot of the great fights, people fought each other at least 3 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think what's his name? Manny Pacquiao and Martinez, they fought like 5 times. Like all the great fights. I mean, their boxing is in a point to where it needs people to push his brand and back into its heyday, because boxing it got overshadowed by USC. It's getting overshadowed by all the other sports. Nobody's really tuning into boxing anymore.
Nope.
I
agree.
It's crazy how Jake Paul has actually helped bring boxing back into more of a mainstream.
He did.
And he definitely looks like the type of guy you wouldn't trust around your drink, but he's a good boxer, like talent-wise.
But my problem is with it, he's only doing exhibition matches. Like, go full professional if this is what you want to do.
He should do, yeah.
Like, he's bringing a bunch of people on Netflix, and it was crashing that whole entire time when he was fighting Tyson, man. But anyway, 7. Let's talk about them Chiefs, man. It was a Jalen Hurts.
I just got a call from my doctor. I got to go. I got to go get my fingernails trimmed. So I'm gonna, man.
Jalen Hurts went 15 for 22, 101 yards, 0 passing touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, 1 rushing touchdown. Patrick Mahomes went 16 for 29, 187 passing yards. Wow, that's but then again, he don't really got many weapons. But 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception, and 1 rushing touchdown. And he also led his team with 66 rushing yards. Jesus, where's his running backs at, man? But in the fourth quarter, 5 pushes in the fourth quarter, man. For the final score of 20-17, thoughts on this game? 7, talk to me.
It's hard for me because I've been through the gauntlet as a Chiefs fan. I remember what it was like to have to look at my team's sideline and see Romeo Crennel standing on the sideline. I remember what it would look like when people were bragging about buying Brody Croyle jerseys or Matt Castle jerseys. So in that regard, things could be a lot worse. But right now, it is definitely difficult for the Kingdom, and it's almost like they're, I think of it like, when you're trying to start the car and it's a cold start and it's an older car, just
that old Buick.
Can't get it to quite turn over. Everything's there. The battery's good. It's just it's not turning over. And you're right.
Pump the gas. You got to pump the gas while you're turning it.
The engine's a little flooded because, it's just we've spent so much time in the playoffs and the Super Bowl in the last 5 years that everybody's just exhausted. So because we're trying to give people like Gene and Eagles fans a chance to have hope that things can continue, because we've just had so much dominance in the NFL for the last 8 years since Patrick Mahomes stepped on the field for the first time, that it's kind of exhausting. It's kind of boring to just continually win all the time. Gene wouldn't know that feeling, but it was tough yesterday because the running game isn't what it should be. That offensive line still is not what it should be. It's not a problem that the Bengals have, but the offensive line is still not what it needs to be. And when you're constantly drafting in the back, it's going to be a problem. The defense doesn't look like it's in sync, but I'm used to that part of it because for some reason the Chiefs defense always starts slow. But Spags is still one of the best defensive coordinators in football, so I'm not worried about it in the long term. But it's difficult to see the way things have gone. The interception yesterday from Pat, like I don't blame him for that. Kelsey's hands are a little slippery. Probably Taylor's lotion was on his gloves. Maybe a little bit too much glitter there. I don't know what happened with that. It's just one of those things that kind of happens. Listen, I'm just trying to justify it any way I can. But there's been a lot of breakdown in coverages, in routes not getting run quite the right way. I think when Rashee Rice comes back, And was it 4 more weeks? I think that things will get a little bit better as far as the offense is concerned. The running game needs to be fixed, but it's hard to have a running game when you don't have an offensive line. Was Josh Simmons? He's still kind of getting his feet wet. Jawan Taylor's still collecting penalties like they're Pokemon cards. I don't get it. I don't get how we weren't, with everything that the Chiefs have done and how good of a GM Brett Veach is. We still have Jawan Taylor on the roster. That's like, I think he's the new Dan Sorensen. Like, he's got to have like naked pictures of Andy Reid or something that's keeping him on the roster, because dude should not be on an NFL field at all.
Will, how you feel about the Chiefs, man?
I'm mad at them. But there's one player in particular I'm pissed off at, and that's Travis Kelce, because I thought he would be motivated after the season he had last year to come back and be better. These 2 games, he's looked old. He's looked really, really old. Having trouble getting separation, and catching and clean catching the football. When Patrick Mahomes is hitting him right there. So he's looking old. The secondary hasn't been the best. Chris Jones doing all this talking but getting burnt. I thought Isaiah Pacheco would be better this year after the season that he had last year. But you haven't seen any of those improvements at all. And the line has gotten worse. I thought Hollywood Brown would have a big game yesterday. I thought it was going to be a big Hollywood Brown game yesterday, but it wasn't. So
I think he got hurt too.
Yeah, so
he was out for a bit, yeah.
So, again, it's just a disappointing start to the year. We'll see how they finish. But clearly to me, they're not going to win that. Me and James been saying it. They're not going to win that division. And I think he said the Chargers, and I say it's the Broncos, even though they took a bad loss yesterday. But I truly think that they won't win that division. I think they'll show a playoff team because of the coaching. I think they'll have their issues corrected by the time playoff time starts. But right now, they're not looking so good.
I'm surprised nobody is upset with the 5 tush pushes in the fourth quarter alone. But
that's gonna get the tush push banned.
If the refs just called it like they're supposed to and called all of the rules that the Eagles break every tush push, then it wouldn't be a problem. But Gene's going to sit there and talk about the Chiefs getting calls all the time. That I don't know if maybe like the flags get glued inside the ref's waistband anytime the tush push is about to happen. But I mean, we don't talk about that. We don't talk.
My thing is this: if you're gonna do it right. I can see if you throw a huge bomb down to AJ Brown down to the 1, and then you tush push in the end zone. I get that point. They up here tush pushing for first downs.
Yeah, you got to.
Like, bro. You're gonna get that thing banned.
Let's get Mo in on this. Mo, how you feel about the Chiefs-Eagles game, man?
If you're a fan of defensive football, it was a great defensive battle. I don't think anything that happened offensively on either side surprised me. Spags is one of the best at it. The Eagles, personnel-wise, have one of the best defenses in football. Kansas City has one of the worst offenses in football. Like, I'm not shocked and they've been one of the worst offenses in football the last couple of years. They've been carried by their defense. Patrick Mahomes has game managed his way offensively, but the offense stinks. But that's not new. That's not new. That's who they've been. And look, all runs come to an end, right? Like, I was listening to 7, and it sounded like he was doing a wrestling promotion. Like, all the dominance. I mean, I get it. Right. I get it. But the reality is they all these runs come to an end. And you got to kind of retool and rebuild. Like, it happens. And here's the interesting part. With all the winning that Patrick Mahomes has done early in his career, which is great. What if there was no more winning? Not talking about winning games or making the playoffs, but if he didn't win any more Super Bowls, does that hurt him at all? Because I don't think it should. But I'm just saying, in reality, everybody else, not just in his division, but in the conference, has gotten better. And what the Chiefs have done is they've gone backwards. So I'm not shocked at all that they're 0-2. They're probably going to be 0-3 because they're not going to beat the Bills, so they're probably going to be 0-3.
Yep.
It happens. And while they do have a very good GM, he hasn't really done a good job of getting playmakers on that team. And the playmakers that he has gotten on that team, another part about being a GM is you don't just look at the talent, you look at the character of the person that you bring to your team, right? That matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He brought some shady people to the team. That matters.
Let me ask y'all this. And I don't mean to interrupt. Let me ask you this. Should they have paid to keep Tyreek?
No.
Absolutely.
No.
I wouldn't have kept. I wouldn't have kept him. But desperate times, desperate measures. You might want to bring him back.
You
might want to bring him back.
You might want to bring them all back. Come on home, big guy.
That is reasonable. He probably wants to get away from his soon-to-be ex-wife in Miami anyway. But that part I can entertain. But at the time, Tyreek needed to go because we talk about how much money Kansas City has tied up into certain big names. If they'd have kept Tyreek, it would be even worse right now. And I don't think Kansas City has as much of a run as they had once he left if they kept him. So I am okay with the fact that he left. I was okay with it when it happened. Will can attest to that.
Yep.
But I'm not against going back and getting him now if you can get a good deal in a trade for him.
Let's talk about it, man. Let's bring up Mr. Russell Wilson, who went for 450 passing yards, man. And
Sierra's husband.
Yes, that's what we call him. That's what we call him. Sierra's husband. That's what we call him. We do not call him Russell Wilson. Sierra's husband. That's what we call him.
I wouldn't take that as an insult.
Oh no, she looked good. She looks amazing. She looks amazing.
But Russell for the Giants threw for 450 passing yards, man. And Dak Prescott has also threw for 361. This was an absolute bomb fest in this game, man. And they went to OT to end 40-37. Mo, talk to me about this game.
Look, it's funny because Chiefs and Eagles was a defensive battle. If you just like teams going up and down the field at will, then you would have enjoyed this game. The funny thing is, I thought the Giants defense, especially that front four, was supposed to be vaunted, like dominant. They were the defense across the board was terrible defense, and the Cowboys defense, which didn't look bad in their Week 1 loss to the Eagles, they looked like the worst defense in football. Like Russell Wilson was dropping back like they were playing 7-on-7, and receivers were just running free. They were playing a cover 3, and dudes still were getting ran by.
Yep.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Yep.
But they made it possible. And look, I think it's great that Russ had a big game, but he threw a god awful interception late in overtime. And I'm not going to say he cost them the game because I would argue their defense cost them the game because in regulation when the Giants went up, the defense had one job: don't let the Cowboys get in field goal range with 14 seconds left. And they did that. The defense cost them that game.
True.
Look at the stats. When you look at the New York Giants, and this is something we haven't been able to truly say for a while, their top two receivers both had over 140 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson had 142. Malik Neighbors had 167. When your offense does that well, that says a couple of things. First of all, that's a good job from our wide receivers. But second of all, the Cowboys defense wasn't stopping anything, and they are truly missing Micah Parsons. But and for me, it came down to rushing, and it came down to defense. It came down to rushing. Giants should have gotten at least one stop in that. But also, when it comes to the Giants rushing, they didn't even rush for 100 yards. All that offense that they put up yesterday didn't even rush for 100 yards.
My thing is about this game, we need to show Brandon Aubrey some love. He is proving that he is the best kicker in the game. That's number one. Number two, I said Javonte Williams would be terrible this year for the Cowboys. He's proven me wrong. He is having so far one hell of a 2-game stretch. scored another touchdown yesterday. And Malik Neighbors is just showing why he could be a superstar in this league already in his second year. It was a great offensive game. I'm with Mo. I'm not going to blast Russell for that pick in overtime because they had a chance to win it in regulation. But great game, and I can't wait to see game 2.
So, Mr. Jerry Jones, the GM and the owner, has went out and signed Jadeveon Clowney right after the game for $6 million. What is
you know why he did that?
What is this going to do for the Cowboys moving forward? 7?
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Signing Jadeveon Clowney is like when you're drunk at a bar at 2 a.m. and the lights come on and you're just trying to find somebody to go home with, and you look down the bar and you see that person that looks like they wouldn't be allowed in a mirror shop. That's exactly what this is.
He shouldn't. You can make an argument that he shouldn't even have had this signing. Be looking at Jadeveon in the first place because he admits that with this signing they're missing a pass rusher. You said the whole time you did this to get more run blocking within your defense, but you will just dismiss Micah. Well, now you just addressed the one hole he was plugging in, and that's pretty much to me meaning that hey, you're missing what Micah can do.
Clowney though, that's where you go.
I know it don't make no sense. No sense at all. The greatest thing that he ever did was that clip at South Carolina.
That's it. That's it. That's where his career peaked right there.
Ever done that clip in South Carolina.
That is his signature 100%. Moment of his entire career.
You take that clip away from him, he's done virtually nothing.
Come on, Mo. Let's get inside Jerry's head when he did this move, man. He did it right after the game, man. What is this going to do for the Cowboys?
This is a low risk, low reward move.
Yep.
It's not going to do anything. It's not going to have any kind of impact. It may add to the amount of guys that play Madden in the locker room, but it's not going to
impact. That man gonna have 2 sacks. 2 sacks and 10 tackles. That's it.
If he get 2 sacks, he get better than me. Better than I thought he'd do.
If he got 2 sacks, both of them have McDonald's logo on them. That's all I'm saying.
So let's talk about it, Mo. Since you got it up there, big dog. Jared Goff, man, and the Lions, they went and dog walk.
I love that game.
They
yesterday.
dog walked them Bears.
I love that game yesterday.
22-21, man. Was this a personal game for the Lions because Ben Johnson left them, man?
I'm sure Dan Campbell wouldn't say that, but sure. I mean, I think they wanted to go out there. One is a divisional opponent, and he's now the enemy. So I'm sure they wanted to go out there and send a message, especially how after they looked in week 1. But the honest truth is, we make our picks, and then we look for like these little weeds where we think, where's there going to be an upset at? Where can we get an upset? I actually picked the Bears to win in an upset because I thought Ben Johnson would coach him up. Again, I really should just stick to my instincts. I'm not a big Caleb Williams fan. I'm not. I don't see what all these other people see. I think that he's going to be one of those guys when it's all said and done. All we're going to talk about is the potential this, potential that. I hate when people keep using the word transcendent, and a guy hasn't done anything to earn that word. Look, both your receivers go over 100 yards. Your running backs rush for a combined 180 yards. Goff throws for 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Bears' offense was bad. The Bears' defense was disgraceful.
My thing is, and I've said it before, with Caleb, you're really not looking at wins and losses. Not to make excuse for him, but to me, you're not looking at wins and losses. You're looking at progression. You're looking to see how far this guy can go. You're looking to see for improvement from Caleb. And again, I do hate the term transcendent, but Ben Johnson offense is hard to comprehend. It could take a couple of seasons to get there. So let's see if they can continue to improve with Caleb. But Gene mentioned it in the comments. I wasn't disappointed in Caleb. The defense was trash yesterday. It was trash. And I said this last week as well.
Trash too?
I knew Detroit was going to come back and play better. I knew Detroit was going to come back and play better because they got embarrassed week 1. I knew they were going to come back and play better in week 2. And they were able to do that. And shout out to them. But I love the pettiness because they was out there running Ben Johnson sets after they scored in the end zone yesterday. They was out there running Ben Johnson sets.
That's what I was saying. How could nobody not see that this game was personal for them? They really took that to heart.
Look here. That was more pettiness. That was more pettiness than Vince McMahon. And Mo, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. That was more pettiness than Vince McMahon yesterday.
It was, but I feel like the Bears defense is so bad that the next time they play, Jared Goff is going to solidify himself in the Pro Bowl. Just 2 games against the Bears.
Yup. Secondary was horrible yesterday.
Whew.
7.
Here, let me ask you guys this, because this is something I've been thinking about. And again, I can attest to the fact that I am not a big Caleb Williams fan.
Caleb Johnson.
Caleb Johnson. I am not a big Caleb Williams
awesome name. Fan. That's an awesome name. We're going to nickname him Caleb Johnson. There you go.
But look at the other thing that we have to look at with that offense. There is something fundamentally wrong with the Bears organization. How many really good quarterbacks have passed through that organization in the last 15 years that have done absolutely nothing? No. Look at Justin Fields right now with the Jets. He is better with the Jets. With the Jets. You can tell that Justin Fields has talent. Mitch Trubisky looked better with the Steelers than he did with the Bears, even though he didn't do a lot. But there is a fundamental problem with the Bears' philosophy and how they develop quarterbacks. Ben Johnson's system is too complicated for Caleb Williams. First of all, like that's the thing. There's talent with Caleb. It's not transcendent. I think he was definitely overhyped. I think he was more of a 3rd-round talent than a 1st-round talent at best. He should not have been starting.
Jesus.
He should not have been starting his rookie year. He should not have been starting his rookie year. And just like what we talk about with Patrick Mahomes, if Patrick Mahomes got to the Bears, he would not be the quarterback he is today. Nobody that is a talented quarterback now would be the quarterback they are if they went to what the Bears have been giving quarterbacks in this league over the last 15, 20 years.
But you can even go back further than that because the Bears have never developed a really good quarterback. And Bears fans, get on me if you want to. Jim McMahon was not a good. He was not a good quarterback.
No, he was not.
He was not a good quarterback. Y'all can go at me all you want. He was not a good quarterback. Send me all the hate mail you want. He wasn't a good quarterback.
He had one job, handing the ball off to Walter Payton. Got the
exactly. That's it. That's it.
I think the Bears' best quarterback they had was Jay Cutler.
100%. And by the way, Jay Cutler,
and they didn't bring him up. Right. And they didn't bring him up. He came from the Broncos.
All right, let's move on, man. Hey, the Bills looking like the team to beat the AFC, man. They out here. They just beat the Ravens. I mean, the Jets, they used to have a great defense to help them win games, but 30-10 against the Jets, man. And Justin Fields and that Jets offense produced no offense, just nothing.
That's more about the Bills defense, honestly, because there is something with that offense that they haven't figured out yet.
You forget, we're not forgetting that the Ravens was throwing all over them. They was running amok on the Bills in week 1. But that was the Ravens, though.
I'm not saying they're the Ravens. I'm not saying they're the Ravens, and I'm not saying they're going to be a top 10 offense. But there is something to that offense there. Justin Fields has talent. We can see it. He's a better quarterback now than he is with the Bears. We're just talking about it. I was just saying it a minute ago.
We don't worry about that, Damien.
But that defense that the Bills have was able to lock down the Ravens when it mattered most. They could get that W.
They did.
Got to talk about that.
They did.
But this week, it was obviously much more of a cakewalk for them because that offense is not the Ravens. And you give You give Josh Allen all kinds of time. Dude could have made a sandwich with every pass. I've seen bigger rushes out of a senior center when dinner hits at 3:30.
My thing is they held Brees Hall like they bottled him up. Could not get the play action pass started for nothing. Couldn't get the run game started for nothing. And it put their defense in a very bad spot. That's a decent Jets defense, but the offense just keeps putting them in bad spots.
Let's be fair. The Jets defense is supposed to be decent, but Buffalo ran the football down their throats.
They did.
They ran the football down their throats. You can't be a good defense if you can't stop the run. So they couldn't stop the run. And let's be a little bit more balanced, because we do talk about we overreact to what we see in week one. I can agree that Justin Fields has talent the same way I can agree that Caleb Williams has talent. But your talent doesn't mean you're going to be a good player. It just means you're talented. He looked good in week one. Give him credit for that. Before he was injured in week two, he looked god-awful. So I don't know what he is. I still don't know what he is. So I'm not going to go, well, he's going to be much better with the Jets. I don't know what he's going to be with the Jets. I have no idea, because he hasn't played a steady diet of consistent and really productive football. I don't know what he is. So we'll see. But they got destroyed on both sides of the football. I thought the Jets could rely on their defense to be at least a top 10 defense. And I thought with the talent that they have around Justin Fields, they'd have a really good offense. But that offense was horrible. And there was no one person that stood out in a positive way on that offense.
So this just in, Justin Fields is under concussion protocol right now. So he may be missing a game possibly.
Oh, Gene, I want to acknowledge what you said about how many Heisman QBs don't get drafted in the first round. I understand what you're saying. But when we look at the QBs that were in that same draft class, it was him, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, and Bo Nix were all in that class. I would take Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix at least over Caleb Williams.
I don't know if I would take everybody over.
I'm to that point too. Bo looked good yesterday.
I'm not taking JJ McCarthy. I'm not taking JJ McCarthy over Caleb Williams. I have to put a hard stop on that.
Well, he got a whole season ahead of him. So if JJ McCarthy can play a whole rookie season and be bad, like Caleb Williams wasn't his rookie season, be bad, I don't know. Like, you can already be bad. Caleb was bad in rookie year. So let's assume that J.J. McCarthy will be bad this year. We'll just be bad like Caleb Williams was his rookie year. And so far, Caleb Williams, he don't look much better this year. So I don't know that, again, we have to stop with the transcendent. And like, all I heard was, well, Ben Johnson will fix him. I bought into that. And we can't keep going with the Bears. Now, Ben Johnson ain't been there in the whole history of the Bears. Ben Johnson is known for being able to work with quarterbacks. And what I said was either he's good enough or he's overrated. And I've always leaned that he's overrated. So I'm not going there. There's nothing in what he's done to prove that he's better than any of those guys you mentioned. Nothing.
So let me ask, at this point in the season, man, what are the Bears going to do? With Caleb Williams, man. Do you think they're going to end up benching him or moving around him at the end of the season?
They're not going to bench him.
No, they're not going to bench him. They got too much invested in him.
Yeah.
So you just going to let him stink it up all year long if he starts stinking it up?
To me,
this is about Ben Johnson. This is about Ben Johnson. If Ben Johnson can't deliver, and I'm not saying Caleb has to be an MVP, but if Ben Johnson is the quarterback, you're going to see an improvement in Caleb Williams. And that's all you're looking for, right? Improvement and development. And if you see that by the end of the year, because again, this is year 2. I'm being fair in that way. I never had the expectations that the Bears would win the division. I thought the Packers would win the division. I thought Detroit would take a step back, but I didn't think the Bears would be a powerhouse in the division. I was looking to see if you saw a development and an improvement in Caleb Williams.
And I think it's great that he'll be given the opportunity to develop and they put weapons around him. Yeah, and that's all this season to me really will be for Caleb and the Bears, a development and improvement. To see if he can get better, to see if they can be that transcendent quarterback. Because you may end up finding out that he's not transcendent. You may end up finding out that he's a talent, he's somebody that can win games, but he's not that guy. As Steve Smith say, you may just end up finding out he's just a guy.
So let's talk about the direction of the Bengals at this point. Joe Burrow is out for 3 months, so that's pretty much majority of the entire season for the Bengals, man. Another season going down the drain. After all that money they spent on this offense, Mo, what was I mean, even though Jake Browning did end up getting out of that game with a win, what's happening with the Bengals from this point on?
I think that win yesterday, that might be their best win of the season. It could be their last win of the season.
Mm-hmm.
When you lose your franchise quarterback, I think that deflates not just the offense but the defense, the locker room in general. You can coach up a guy like Browning to a degree, but talent is talent. There's a separation. When they go up against better football teams, that offense is not going to be able to move the football at all. I think the Bengals, this is a lost season. And now you have to look at Joe Burrow in the bigger picture. He's not going to be one of those guys that has a 12 or 15 year career. But I already knew that. I guess the question is, if you're a Bengals fan, if he has a shortened career, a Kurt Warner-like career, can you get a Super Bowl out of that? Can you get one? If you get one Super Bowl out of the Joe Burrow era, it's worth it, right? It's worth it because they have nothing to go off of in the history of Cincinnati. It's not like they ever won one. So I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, but the injuries are starting to mount up and time is ticking. They invested so much in their offense. It's already a lost season. And then going forward into next season, what do you do? What do you do going forward?
7, what you got?
The problem here, this is what, the second time in 3 years that Joe Burrow is going to miss most of the season, if I recall correctly, because it wasn't last year, it was the year before. He was out for most of the season as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We are now 100% with Joe Burrow and Andrew Luck territory. There's no question now. Like we've alluded to it. We've said it looks like it could be that direction. This is where it is now. There's no maybe anymore. And there is a fundamental problem with the Cincinnati Bengals. I saw somebody yesterday in a comment section say that the Bengals in this next draft should use every single pick on an offensive lineman and see how many of them stick. And I cannot disagree with that statement because they have done nothing. I have a 15-year-old that has done more homework in high school than the Bengals have done on trying to find an offensive line to actually protect Joe Burrow. And that is an absolute shame. Gene, I mean, can't disagree. There's no evidence at this point to say otherwise. Because it's such, even as a Chiefs fan, it is a travesty to see how much abuse that man takes because of the complete lack of protection that he has.
Well,
I agree.
What's up with the Bengals, man? Where do they go from here?
I'll take it a step further. Y'all keep saying Andrew Luck. I'm gonna take it a step further. David Carr. I'm gonna take it there. And I agree with Key. You pay T. Higgins. You pay T. Higgins. You pay Jamar Chase. You pay Trey Hendrickson. You know he ain't coming back. So what does that spell for your franchise? You're money strapped. You can't draft. You've shown so far you can't draft. So what do you do? What do you do? This franchise is snake bit. But at the same point, look who's running it. Look who's running it. A terrible front office. And I hope Joe comes back and I hope he's better next season. But that is not run right. The organization not run right, and it's snake bit because now you have to depend on Browning to be your quarterback to get you through the season, and that's not going to turn out well.
A quick question here. Do the Bengals tank for draft picks and then trade either Chase or Higgins in the offseason to get more assets to try and bulk up a little bit farther? Because that seems like the most viable option at this point.
But see, I can't see them trade neither one, because if you trade either one, then all of a sudden Burrow got a problem with you.
No. Mm-hmm. If you get him protection so he has time to throw, he's not going to use less of a chance of getting an injury.
But
I disagree.
But he won't see it like that, though.
I don't think
see it like you trying to get rid of his boys, and I don't think he's going to sit with that.
They're not going to trade Chase. And
it would be Higgins, I think.
And as far as tanking goes, they don't have to tank. They're going to be legitimately bad enough. They're going to be fine.
Oh yeah, they're going to be right.
They don't need to tank. They're going to lose legitimately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially with Jake Brown, and he did throw 4 picks yesterday and still got out with a win.
Particularly in that division. Save for the Browns. You got to play the Steelers twice and the Ravens twice. And if Jair Alexander is playing anything concurrent, unlike he did week 1, that's going to be 2 losses.
Hey, they gonna need to pick up at least 2 more quarterbacks, because Jake gonna die back there playing against the Browns.
Oh yeah,
that's a good point.
Oh yeah, and there's already a report, out there saying they're looking for free agent quarterbacks.
They got to, bro.
I ain't going to Cincinnati. No.
Joe Down, your backup is Jake Brown, and I don't even know who the third guy is, but they all gonna get cooked back there. But
they're gonna try and get Chase Daniel to come out of retirement.
Moving on, Mo. Let's talk about it, man. Week 2. Danny Dimes survives another week, man. Throwing for 316 and a touchdown to get a walk-off field goal win to win it 29-28 against the Broncos, man. Is Danny Dimes making his team a legitimate threat in the AFC South?
I was really consistent about this. If Danny Dimes is going to play consistent football, he doesn't have to be dominant, just consistent football, the Colts are going to win that division outright. I said that. I would argue that he's playing above, like right now, he's playing above his punching weight. Like he looks like an all-pro quarterback right now. Do I think he's going to be that for the breadth of the season? I don't. But I would say this: you got a dominant offensive line. You got one of the 3 best running backs in football. And you got playmakers on the outside. The Colts has always been loaded. What they haven't had is a quarterback. I'll keep saying this. They don't need him to win games. They just need him not to lose games. And if he does that, they're gonna walk away with this division. It's not gonna be close.
7.
Colts, I mean, they said it best, man. It's Danny Dimes. He just has to be a game manager, and that's exactly what he's good at. That's why Dable was able to get him paid. That season where Dable got Daniel Jones paid, he was an effective game manager. And now you've got him in the Colts. You've got a lot of talent around him. You've got a scheme that is reliable but simple at the same time. There's a lot of quarterbacks that would be effective in that system. And I'm not saying that they would be better. I'm not saying that they would be transcendent, to use a word that Mo hates. But that system is built to where like this is like you could almost see him like he is to this system what Trent Dilfer was to the Ravens when they won the Super Bowl. His job is just to not mess it up. And in that regard, that's exactly what he's done so far. And you know, because when you've got guys like, you know, like what Key pointed out, Jonathan Taylor, over 200 yards. You've got I was just looking at
Pittman. Pittman's nice.
Pittman, yeah, Pittman. Pittman did well. Tyler Warren's
nice too.
He did really well. Alec Pierce has put up some numbers. Like there's consistency, and then on the defensive side, they do just enough, and that's all you need. Everybody, this entire program, they're doing just enough. And if you're a Colts fan, that's a nice change from what they've had since Peyton Manning left. So you got to be happy with it.
Will, how you feel about Danny Dimes so far, man?
Ultimate game manager. He's got a good running back behind him. He's got a good defense to back him up. Got a good offensive line. He's got receivers on the outside, and Pittman and company. Really like Tyler Warren as a rookie tight end. Yeah, I agree with Seth. He kind of stole my thunder there. He's going to be your next Trent Dilfer that can be successful as a game manager. It's not going to be anything exciting, but he doesn't need to be exciting. Just go out there, make sure that you make the right reads, and don't throw INTs as you're seeing with Joe Flacco over with the Browns. Don't lose the game, and that's all he got to do.
I agree with Kyle. His job is to not be Anthony Richardson. That's plain
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
So many games happened over the weekend, man, but I'm going to turn it over to Seven. He got a topic he would like to discuss this.
Oh, why we got
before
to
we
bring
close
them
out.
up, Seven?
You see, listen. So
Why?
let's talk about it.
Lord.
It is Will's least favorite topic right now because right now the New York Mets are free falling like Tom Petty in an encore,
Yep.
and it is mind blowing how bad they have absolutely crumbled. They went from having the best record in baseball to being 12 games back in their own division.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the standings, the San Francisco Giants are only a game and a half back. The D-backs are only a game and a half back for the wild card. The New York Mets could literally be going from first to not even in the playoffs.
Yep.
In 100 games. And so I'm going to give you the chance to talk about this first. What is going on with the Mets? You've got the highest payroll in baseball outside of the Dodgers. And you're not getting anything out of it at this point since, really in the last 2/3 of the season. What's going on?
No run production. That's the first thing. No run production. Second, our pitching hasn't been the best since early in the season. Health has been an issue as of late also. And this is just categorically normal for the Mets. Because if you go back and look at our history, we've always struggled even after the All-Star break. And this is the worst struggle we've had in years. It's just a terrible free fall, and I don't know what we can do to fix it.
Mo, what do you think, man?
I think that I have a few friends that are Yankee fans that are really enjoying this. This is like almost an historical collapse. And it's interesting because prior to the collapse, Mets fans all around were in love with Juan Soto. Right? They love Soto. And for some reason, so many of them are like, they've turned on Soto. I'm like, y'all are losing, but it's not all on Soto. Like, y'all are losing collectively as a team. It's not one man. Like, this is like they just completely fell apart and forgot how to play baseball.
And you really can't say, Seven, that this is all on the front office. I think a lot of it has to do with the players' mentality as well. Because when you start to believe your own press, that affects on how you play. And all this time around that we start the season off strong, best record here, best record there. We start out strong, but then after the All-Star break, we falter. And that's a constant thing. And it's just a player mentality. And no matter what we do to change that lineup, that mentality is the same. So if we can't change that to keep our foot on the pedal for the whole season, then nothing's gonna change.
There's definitely been an injury issue with the Mets, but I think the biggest problem that the Mets have is actually pitching. Like, hitting hasn't been what it needed to be, but if pitching was more effective, you wouldn't have that issue. And there's the Mets are just bleeding runs. Your ace has a 3.77 ERA. That shouldn't happen. You've got several injuries pitching wise that have hurt you to the point you've had to call guys up.
Yep.
Clay Holmes is one of your most experienced pitchers. He's fourth in your rotation, and he's got a 3.75 ERA. Like, Will Kyle, I think what it is Mets, Saints, and Bulls for Will. He just likes to be disappointed. He likes to be angry as a sports fan. I think that's what it is for me.
Hey,
but like,
hey, We're coming back. We're coming back, baby.
Excuse me. I want to close with this question. If the Mets miss the playoffs, we're going to use credit with that. If the Mets miss the playoffs, is this the worst free fall in baseball history, or at least in recent history?
In recent history, yeah.
Yes.
In recent history. Maybe not all time, but in recent history, yeah.
They're working on all time.
Because when we because of where not only where we started, but how we started. Because if you go back to the beginning of the season, they started off well. They were winning games by multiple runs. Their pitching was intact. They were pitching very, very well. So the way they started, because of the way they started, if you don't make the playoffs, it's a monumental fail. Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel you, Gene.
Yeah.
So the 49ers, they have no Brock Purdy for a few weeks, man.
Just killing you,
boy. But y'all still winning.
Just killing you, boy.
Mac Jones, he was holding it down a little bit, man. But where do you see the Niners going with their season thus far? What you've seen in the 2 weeks?
I think they've been able to beat teams they're supposed to beat. They have one of the weaker schedules, even with their injuries. If they can find a way to win games, I think they're going to be fine. I just think that they're going to have some struggles ahead. Mac Jones did well. He played within the system. Shanahan's comfortable with him, so I'm going to give Mac Jones a lot of credit. But when I watch them play, what they don't have is they don't have a lot of explosive plays, so they have a small margin for error. And the defense has been good, if not great. So again, I'm not going to get too high on the first 2 games of the year. I'm going to wait till we get to the meat of the schedule and play some of the better teams. Then you have a better idea of what the Niners actually are.
Carmike, you killing your boy. You killing your boy over here. You killing your boy. Listen, doggone it. And I'll give him all his props. I hate Spencer Rattler. I can't stand the man.
You really hate him?
He threw 3 touchdowns yesterday, 209 yards, if memory serves me.
I thought he played well.
The reason why we lost that game yesterday, penalties and drop passes. If you could catch the damn football and stop having all these penalties, you could have been. And I can't believe I'm saying this.
Should have won.
We could have been 1-1 right now. Maybe 2-0, depending on how, if you look at halftime of the Cardinals game. I'm just saying.
I mean, let's the state of your team. Will, do you really want to be winning games this year? What does that prove?
Again. And I've said this before. You're looking at progress, and you're looking at Kellen Moore's progress. This is the first time being the head coach. This is Spencer Rattler's second year starting. You're looking for progress. At some point, you may see Tyler Shuck, but you're looking for progress at this point. They're still a bad team. They're still going to be 3-14, but you got to beat somebody to keep the fans interested. But it's a year of progress, and I don't want to see my team not win any games. But yeah, it's
a draft pick, man. You can bring Archie home.
I know. But now it looks like the guy who we're putting
do that.
But it looks like the guy who we're putting all our hope in, Archie Manning, isn't playing so hot right now.
Why would you do that? Don't do that. There goes another guy they call Transcendent. There they go again.
And he's not looking that hot right now. So I don't know if tanking is the right way to go. So let's see. Oh my God.
Well, you just need to take a step.
Name is his last name.
Yep.
Well, you just got to take a step back and look beyond the results.
Oh, we've been doing that. We've been doing that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our time. I appreciate everybody stopping through to the Wire to Wire podcast, man. Wire Network. Seven, you got any closing remarks for our people?
Notre Dame should not be ranked in the top 25. That's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you, because I do agree.
Will,
I
what
do
you got? What
agree.
you got for us on closing remarks?
Don't forget to join us later on tonight for the Sports Report podcast, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Water Wire Sports. We're going to be going over the games, going over some baseball, and we're going to be going over some pro wrestling. So definitely join us tonight.
And as always, if you mow better, you'll do better. Close us out, big guy.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Make sure you check out all the great content we have Water Wire Network. Water Wire Network, we appreciate you.